Hey, mamas, thank you for joining me for the very first night. Mom Talk Live is back, and we are going to be having candid conversations with all of my mama friends from all around the world. So, tonight's topic is, does balance really exist? So, go ahead, share, tag a mom so that y'all can join in on the conversation. We want to hear from you, want to hear your questions, and we are going to get this conversation started. So we are back, and again tonight the conversation is, does balance really exist? So if you are a mother, if you are a busy mom, like I want to know, I want to hear from you. I want to dive into this conversation. Like, what do you think about balance? Are you having a hard time finding balance? Are you a guru when it comes to balance? We really need to hear from you tonight. And so I'm super excited to have this conversation. I am your girl, Tramika Craddock. I am a lifestyle coach for busy moms, helping them create a blueprint so that they can find rhythm in life, family, and work or business. And so let's dive in. I have my special guest tonight, Ebony. Welcome, and Marion as well. Welcome, ladies. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with you, Ebony.
Okay. I'm a rule follower. I was waiting. Okay. So I'm Ebony. I am a mother. I have a 4-year-old daughter who's going on 14. I have an 11-year-old son who's at basketball right now. I am an educator. I'm a principal by day. I'm a doctoral student, and I am the founder and president of a nonprofit organization called Moms in Motion, amongst many other things.
Awesome. So perfect person to have on tonight about balance, right? Like, you got a lot of hats and responsibilities you carry in there. So we gonna talk about it. Marianne, what's up, girl? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I should have been paying better attention to remember all the Ebony listed. But I'm a mom, a single mom of one little boy, one 12-year-old boy. He ain't that little no more. I am a project manager for a bank. I am also a Mary Kay independent beauty consultant, as well as the founder of Blissfully Living LLC. I think that's it right now. Yeah, I had to let go from that.
Let's go back and repeat some of these ages that we got going on. So I don't even think I said I have 3 kids, for those of you who don't know me. So I have 3 kids. I have 11-year-old, 14-year-old, and 18-year-old. So I got a gray hair for each one of them in my head right now. I'm dealing with all the preteen and teen stuff all at once, y'all. Like, whoo, that's a whole nother show, though. We're going to get on here. We're going to talk about those teenagers, but that's a whole nother show. So those are my ages. Ebony, what ages did you have?
4 going on 14, and I'm sorry, but girls are different than boys. My daughter is, yes, and then my son is 11. So I have a pre-K. If we talk about grades, my daughter's in pre-K. My son is in 5th grade.
Gotcha. And then Marion, one boy. How old?
12 in 6th grade.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. So the reason why I want us to put those ages out there, so as you can see, all the moms that are watching, go ahead and share or tag with another mom who needs this conversation tonight. As you can see, it varies, right? So we literally have 4 to 18 here. So we pretty much got it covered. We don't have any adult children here. That's a whole nother story and show as well, that we're going to talk about. But about 4 to 18. So we're going to talk about some balance. But before we get into that, I do want to ask you all of my guests, I want to know a part of your birth story. So something that somebody might find unique, that they might find funny. Maybe you struggled when it was time, when you was in the delivery room. Tell me one part of your birth story that you want to share with the audience tonight.
Oh, so I'll jump in if that's okay, Marion. So, with my son, so that's another fun fact. I was 19 and in school. when I became pregnant with my son. And I was trying to be superwoman, right? Like first time mom, reading all the things about natural this, natural that, make organic foods, you know how that goes. And so I went in, I was like, I don't want an epidural. Like, no, don't give me an epidural. I want a natural birth. I'm gonna have him naturally. I had like read all this stuff, drink this tea, do that. And I was ready. I had it made up in my mind. I am not getting an epidural. Baby, I remember I was like, I was slowly, like my water didn't break with him. I like was dilating very slowly. I did have preeclampsia when I went into, so you know, Pitocin was kicking in, right? So like Pitocin is no joke. So I was induced, and I was still like, no, I'm okay. No. And I waited to the last minute, y'all, to get an epidural. When I tell you that epidural didn't work, I was hitting that button like you can only press it like so many times or whatnot. Because I was like, I don't want my baby to be drugged up. I don't want anything to happen to him. I want him to be fine. And I finally was like, my mom was like, Ebony, don't suffer if you don't have to. And I was like, okay, caved in and still felt every single bit of giving birth to him. Do you hear me? So that was my extra story.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And our audience that is watching as well, if you have a part of your childbirth story that you would like to come up on the broadcast, I'll be happy to share it. So let us know. Let us know if you have something funny, if it was challenging, whatever it is that you want to share. And Marian, let's hear it. Let's hear it. How did yours go?
How did it go? I mean, he here. I don't know. I have a similar story to Ebony's. Because actually I played mind games on myself. That's how I made it through without the epidural. Because I always tell moms, if you're pregnant and you want a natural birth, the best thing to do is to make the decision as early on in your pregnancy as possible, and to read and study all the different stages of childbirth, so you know exactly where you are and exactly what to expect to come next.
I did that. Next.
So what I did, I knew it was too late, and then I asked for it. Like I played some kind of mind game on myself. Like I asked, and then they told me no. So it's just like, you already know. So that's how I made it through. It was a mind game. But I don't have anything funny about that. I mean, other than I was playing mind games on myself. But I don't know. They said I was lucid. Like I would crack jokes in between each contraction.
Oh wow!
Like I would just freeze in mid sentence, and then as soon as it was over, I would continue on my sentence. I barely remember it though. I just know I'm grateful because. Go ahead.
When you have another one, when you have another,
it's supposed to get easier.
Listen, I went in and I was like, right here, give me that, right here. Here you go. I went right here, down here. I went in knowing, nope, give me one.
See, I'm crazy because I can't wait to do it all over again. I can't wait.
And Mariah came out just fine. Matter of fact, she came out trained to go. She was just fine.
We're going to be right there cheering you on because you can't wait to do it again because I am completely done. And let me tell you, everyone is different. I don't know about getting easier. That wasn't like my story. My youngest or my oldest, my first one was super easy. Everybody was like, it's so funny because my sister-in-law said, like, if we was trying to teach a young girl, like, not to get pregnant, she was not to come in on your labor and delivery because you made it look super easy, super simple. And so that one was easy. Second one went in. I got induced with, except for my son, but they still gave me a little bit of Pitocin, but got induced with the first two. Earlier for the second one. Baby, I need a whole show to tell y'all about the whole epidural process. It was like horrible, okay? It was very horrible. So I was nervous going into it with my son. I did the same thing y'all, Ebony, you said, wait till the last minute. And before it kicked in, like I had him naturally. So the second one was the worst. But I think because I had anticipated the pain so much from the first one, I was so nervous going in. I had more control with my son. With my son, I carried him well. I was cute. I was like, I had my scriptures, I had my music, I had candles, but you can't light candles in the hospital. I had all of that. So it was a little, we text everybody, we don't want no guests. Like, why I'm doing it. Like, when he come, that's fine. But we don't want nobody, no distractions. I don't need nobody there laughing. I don't need you eating and I can't eat. Like, none of that. So it went a little more smoother. But I do think, to one of your points, Marion, that having a birth plan, like, super, super important, and trying to stick to it as much as you can. Okay, so that's our birth stories, right? They're here now. How is balance, ladies? Like, and we'll start with you, Marion. Like, how, you know, and we want to have this candid conversation to all the moms. So if you're watching again, and you know you have a friend, a sister, a daughter, a auntie, whoever that needs to see this, please go ahead and share and tag them in this so that they can have this conversation with us tonight. And so we're sharing from truth. This is super. This is your red table talk for moms, okay? So we're sharing from truth, and we just want to, you know, tell y'all about our experience and our stories, so that you can relate. First of all, you can find support and you can find inspiration. So, okay, Mary, where you at with the B word, girl?
What is that?
Balance, the B word.
Girl, I ain't never had it. I don't know what it is.
What is that?
So, like, one thing with my story though is I am what they call now neurodivergent. I have ADHD. And so balance is really, really hard for me, especially since I'm in this thing where I want to have more kids. And I'm 33. Well, I'll be 34 at the end of the month. And you know, getting close to that geriatric mom age.
Oh, Lord.
I'm completely single. I'll just say I'm single. I'm completely single. And so, like, I don't know how old I'm going to be when I can. So I'm doing all the things that I can internally to keep my body in shape because I want more children. So I am not on any behavioral health meds. But so it's a struggle for me to find balance. Like I'm, you know, squirrel. Oh, what? Like, my attention is not there. And then to have like things come on me, like me being a project manager, it's a new gig. I just started, I just got hired August 30th. So it's a lot to manage. I try, like, first of all, Mom Squad. First of all, Mom Squad and all the things that Tramika has taught us as a foundation is a big help. You know, scheduling, prepping. I don't do it perfect, but having that foundation and using, even if I use like one tool a week or whatever, that's helpful. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, stopping and then just making like a checklist. I'm not one of those people that checklists can get me through everything, but when I'm super overwhelmed, then it works. So I'm like, if I can just get these 3 things here, 1, 2, 3, then we'll be okay. And then we'll let tomorrow worry about it. So yeah, like, I'm all for all the training on trying to find a balance. It just, you know, it ain't, I haven't hit it yet. And I just, every season, because like I said, in my intro, I had to think about, like, is that all that I'm doing? Because I had to let go some hats. So that's part of it. That's good. But, you know, every season, you just got to prioritize and, you know, get done what cannot be put off. And then
I like that.
Fit in the rest as it goes. That's been my strategy so far.
I love it. So get done what cannot be put off. So I love that. Okay, you in your bag tonight. I love it. Okay, so you're not married to the B. So you ain't quite gotten there yet, right? What about you, Ebony? What you feeling about the B word?
I'm like all over the place, which goes totally against balance. But so, like, as I'm like thinking, and people need to know, like, this is super duper live. Like, these questions are not scripted. So this is super live. As I'm thinking about, like, so the question I always get from people is, how do you do it all? How do you do it all? And I always say, like, it goes back to me being 19 in school, being pregnant with this little bitty brown boy. And I feel like that started my journey of learning how to balance things as a mother, I'll say. But I think before then, I like to stay busy in a sense, and I like to be productive. So, like, even when I was in college, I was working 2 jobs. But when I think about my journey as a mom, I think it started then because I had to balance being a mother and being a student, like right out the gate at the age of 19, and figure out how to make it work. And from that point, I'm also very, like, if I want something, I'm going to get it and make it happen. And so I'm always like, all right, how can I fit this in and make this work? Right. So, like, I've always been like somewhat strategic about doing what I have to do. Now, have I always been balanced? No. Like, sometimes I don't want to use the word overwhelmed, but sometimes it becomes a lot. And Marion said it well, I have to take a step back and say, okay, this is a priority right now, or this isn't a priority right now. But I think thinking about too, like, my goals and what I need to do, like, you can't, I don't know how to say this. You can't just do, if you have this vision and this goal, like, doing one thing may not get the job done. Like, you're gonna have to probably balance more than one thing, and it's about figuring out. It's like an equation, like an algebraic equation, about figuring out what formula you need to get to the end result, right? And so that formula changes depending on the season that you're in. I went into 2022 and I was like, it's about my kids, it's about this doctoral program. That's my and my job as well. Like, those are my focuses areas, and here's what I need to do to get it done. So I don't have a perfect formula. And like Marion said, the Mom Squad has definitely helped me with planning out my weeks, planning out my days, even to the point, Tramika, I remember, I think it was my mom came home and she was like, how are you cooking? Like, you just worked the full day, you're cooking, but like literally to the point where, okay, if I know Isaiah has basketball practice on Monday, I'm gonna throw something in the crock pot Sunday so that when we come home, it's set. Oh, okay, like, you're gonna pack your basketball clothes in the car in case we don't have time to go home. Like, you have to literally, like, be a forward thinker to balance things.
Okay, educator with the formulas. Okay. So I love what you said about being a forward thinker as well, because, and one of the other things I want to back all the way up, like in the beginning, I get the same question all the time, like, how do you balance it all? How do you do it all? Because I, do all this stuff and what people see on social media and stuff like that, or people who know me. And I've always had the capacity for forward thinking or growth. And so I'm always in a place where I'm not trying to just figure out what I have going on. I always am thinking about, okay, I'm trying to get here though. And so it requires me to take more on, which requires my capacity to be larger. But one of the things you mentioned was when you was 19, basically you started to learn that balance because you were in school and you had a baby. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when people ask me before, a long time ago, I used to always say, how do you do it all, Tramika? I have to. Like, that was my answer. Like, if I don't do, who's gonna do it? Like, I have to do all that I'm doing. And if I desire more, then I got to do that on top of what I got to do. Like, but I had a baby at 19 too. Now, kudos to you, girl, because you stayed in school. I dropped out of college. I went back eventually later and got my degree, but I dropped out then. But that's funny that you say that, because that kind of triggered something in me. Like, maybe that is where I really started to kind of figure out my balance per se. Now, let me throw this out here. We want to hear from the audience as well. So if you haven't already shared or tagged with another mom who needs to be in on this conversation, go ahead and do so, and then drop your questions about balance if you want to ask a question, or comments about balance in the chat. And I'll be happy to bring those up on the broadcast. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I no longer believe in balance. I no longer believe in it, a perfect balance. I no longer believe that it exists. I literally, my first book, Wife Mompreneur, that I wrote, I talked about my journey of becoming a mom, becoming a wife, and becoming an entrepreneur. And I don't know how many times I probably mentioned the word balance in that book, but I'm sure I mentioned it a lot of times. But I got to a point where I got tired of chasing this seemingly non-existent thing. Like, okay, now I'm good in this area. Now this person is complaining. Now I'm good in this area. Now the kid's not acting right. Now I'm good in this area. Got the client straight and all that. Now I'm personal life jacked up, and now I'm doing self-care. And I'm just like, okay, God, like where does this end? Like, where can I find like this perfect balance? And I always tell people, like, you know, if you got these 3 things going on in your life, I always equate to motherhood, marriage, and entrepreneurship, because that's kind of like what I got going on. I always say you can't give 33.3333 whatever to every single point in your life. And so what I realized and what I discovered is I personally can't have a perfect balance, but what I can have is rhythm. So that's my new word. Rhythm is my new word. So instead of saying like I'm trying to balance everything, I always say I'm trying to maintain my rhythm. So the first thing I gotta do is I gotta create a blueprint for rhythm. Literally what I do and what I teach moms, right? And so now, because everybody life is different, you have multiple kids, you have one child, you got kids who older, who in college, you know, single, married, all of that, right? And so figuring out what rhythm looks like for your life in particular, instead of picking up, and I'm not saying nothing against nobody else. Again, I have the word balance in my book 10 million times, but instead of picking up all the books, listen to all the self-help on how I can like try to go after this non-existent thing, to me, again, personally, I figured out that the rhythm is what I need to have. And so rhythm changes. It can change within the hour. It can change within the day. It can change within my season. So at one moment I'm showing up for the kids, at another moment I'm showing up for the client. But as long as I'm giving some part of me, not equally, but some part of me to all those different areas in my life, then that's how I maintain that rhythm. What do you ladies think about that? What do you think about me saying like balance doesn't exist?
It makes me feel better because I was looking for it and I can never find it. So
what you think, Ebony?
Oh, sorry. I think I agree, because I think sometimes it brings frustration. I think when we strive for like the perfect balance, similar to what you were saying, I remember when I first started working with you, Tramika, and it was a week, and I was like, you were like, how you were checking in. I was like, I didn't do my laundry. I couldn't do this. I didn't do this. And I was mad because I had perfectly balanced my week and I didn't get it done. But I realized too that like if we get thrown off by trying to balance everything, sometimes it makes us completely shut down, which was what I was doing. I was like, well, the laundry didn't get done today. Guess I got to wait till next week to do it. Whereas, okay, it didn't get done today. Maybe my rhythm is off, but hey, I can do it tomorrow. Yeah. And that brings a different sense of peace, of like not striving for perfection. Because when you think of a balance perfectly balances things, right? Like perfectly. It doesn't kind of weigh, right? But like that's not realistic. Like it's not.
Yeah, so all of my moms out there listening, let us know. Chime in the comments. I see that Danielle, she mentioned that she liked that when we were talking about being a forward thinker. And then I see Latoya as well. Ladies, thanks for tuning in with us tonight. She said rhythm, yes. So yes, rhythm. Because like you said, so we're not chasing this perfection. I believe that you should chase progression and productivity. Like you should always be productive in your life and you should strive to progress to something. And perfection looks like I'm at a 1, but I'm gonna try to get to a 10. You go from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 2.5, and then 3 to 3, right? And so when we keep that, maintain that rhythm, like you said, okay, well, I fell short this week because I teach on weekly basis. So I fell short this week. I'm just gonna pick it up next week. Like you said, my rhythm was off, but now that happened on a Tuesday. I can jump back into the rhythm on Wednesday and kind of get back where I need to be, like in my mojo, in my groove. And so that's why I love now. You won't hear me mention balance a lot now because I just felt like I was chasing this non-existent thing. And like you mentioned, Ebony, I started to feel bad or guilty. Like, okay, well, what I see on social media, it seems to be perfect, right? Well, I see the person across the street or next door around the corner, or the mom at the PTA meeting, the president of it, right? Like the teacher that's teaching, like I see people in careers where I strive to be, I see them doing it and not knowing that my sister.
But are they though?
Right, that's what I was about to say. Not knowing that my sister, she out here either stressed out or striving for the same thing that doesn't really exist. So you're right. Are they? And so again, I tried to go back to the whole rhythm piece versus the balance.
Yes.
So we have Tiffany that said, I like that chase progression. And then Johanna, hey Johanna.
Hey girl.
She wanted to share with us as well. So anybody else watching, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Drop your comments and your questions in the comment box. So we want to put them up on the screen. We want to be able to share with you. Thank you all for the ones who have done it so far. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this conversation with balance. So when we come back, I want us to just inspire our moms, make them feel supported. We already told them, y'all not alone, because we don't got balance. We over here, it be looking jacked up sometimes over here too, right? And so what we want to do is, I want us to just encourage them and inspire them. And when we do fall off, right, when we're not in rhythm, what are some of the things that we do to get back in rhythm? So we'll be back right after this. Momscape 2022. I know my team has to be excited as well. Look, y'all, we have been in a hotel room hosting our events for the last 2 years, resetting the room multiple times during the weekend to accommodate our moms. We're not going to have to do any of that in this new, beautiful conference center. Super excited. The space is super dope. It's going to take place in Atlanta, Georgia, in this beautiful conference center. There has been a multi-million-dollar renovation just completed. There's a restaurant on site. There's an indoor pool. There's an outdoor pool. There's a fitness center. The conference center is over 30,000 square feet. Now, we are not going to take up all of that space. Just not quite yet. Soon, but not yet. But we will need a lot of that space to be able to serve our moms in this ultimate escape. This is where our luxury accommodations for our moms from all over the world is going to take place as well. Look, Momscape was designed to provide a place for moms all over the world to run away to so that they can learn, they can level up with our life-changing workshops. They can find a peace of mind. They can meet new moms and have fun. Momscape is all about the fun. We're going to have a pool party. We got opening sessions. We got dynamic workshops. We have some dynamic speakers lined up. We have a vendor fair. Listen, at our vendor fair, you're not just going to be able to buy and purchase products. We're going to have resource vendors there too that is going to help you level up in your life as well as help your kids level up as well. We have a 3-part formal that's going to include a red carpet, a formal dinner, a 90s after party. Y'all not going to be able to get me off the dance floor. We also have some special guests lined up to be with us as well. Can't forget about our Mom Talk Live as we close it out on Sunday. I am so excited. You do not want to miss this amazing 3-day event. VIP and regular admission tickets do go on sale February 6th, but be the first to know by going online right now, clicking the link, and signing the interest list. Do that today. Grab your mama friends, and I will see you in Momscape 2022. All roads lead to June 10th and through the 12th, 2022, Momscape 2022. You have to be there. Okay, y'all, we're back and we're continuing this conversation, talking about balance. So we talked about how we kind of don't really believe that the perfect balance exists, but we do believe in rhythm. And so now my mama friends, Ebony and Marion, we're going to talk from a place of, if you are watching, you're tuning in, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, and you're just like, Ebony, Marion, Tramika, I am struggling. I'm on the struggle bus. That's what we say around our house when it comes to balance. And so we're going to just share with you just some practical things. Someone is at the front door. Some practical things that we do to be able to have balance in our lives. And Marion, I'll let you kick it off and just share. I know you shared a little bit, but if you can kind of go over some of the things that you say you do to be able to have that balance in your life. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Ebony, go ahead.
I'll jump in. So I'm spiritual, so I'll say that. So one of the things that keeps me balanced is praying. And starting my day in prayer and like literally asking God for direction for every area and aspect of my life. And so even if someone's not religious, I think what I'm centering yourself, like I literally have to center myself when I'm like, oh my God, there's too much going on in my mind. And like sort the files and say, okay, what is like urgent, what's priority, what needs to get done, things of that sort. And also like giving myself grace if it doesn't get done. Like it's okay if it does not get done. I also think, Tramika, and you did not pay me to say this, but as I was watching a video, I thought about last year when I came to Momscape, right? I hadn't traveled probably in a while. And I think sometimes, especially us as single moms, shout out to all the single moms. I think sometimes we feel guilty. And we're like used to being around our kids nonstop. But like it's okay to have fun. Like, and you don't have to consume yourself 24/7 with like just being a mom. For your own mental health, it's okay to take a break away from those kids. And honestly, when I come back, I'm a healthier mom. I'm like, oh, I actually did miss you. Like I love you. I miss you. So I think giving yourself grace, centering yourself, pacing yourself. That's one thing I had to learn because sometimes I try to do everything at once. I learned that this year as an educator. And like this was hard for me, Tramika, like going with the flow. And I'm not a person to say go with the flow, but be flexible, like pivot. Like there's more than one way to get something done. If it does not get done the way you kind of envision it to get done, and that's okay. And sorry, last thing, Tramika, because you said this about social media. Don't compare yourself. I'm telling you, like that's the biggest mistake you can do is to like, everybody's goals. That's not me though. Like everybody's goals, right? And I think that the goals culture has cultivated this element of like, well, it does exist and I can do this instead of like finding your own rhythm and your own beat and being okay with that because everybody is trying to tell everybody what something should look like or what it should feel like. So don't compare yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you said a lot, but one of the things that you did say in regards to the goals culture and everybody making it seem like I think the important thing is conversations like this to say like it's real. You need a break. Thank you. Shout out to LaToya for that comment. You need a break. Sometimes your kids get on your nerves. Sometimes you might not even really like them. I don't know. People might not want to say that. I love my kids all the time, but sometimes they get on my last nerves. Okay, if I'm just being completely honest, right? And like one of those times is probably like right now, in this season of my life, and so it's okay though. I still love them. So going away to be able to rekindle that thing in me to say, like you said, when I come back, like, oh my God, I do miss you. I want to do these quality things with you, or, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that it is important. And again, having these conversations to be honest and truthful and say, like, look, sis, it don't exist. Find your own pace, find your own rhythm. And stop comparing yourself to everybody else, or stop trying to do what everybody else is trying to do, because everything doesn't work for everyone. So even all the advice that we're giving tonight, you pick and choose what works for you. And I tell my clients that when I sit down with them all the time as well. This is what I do. You figure out what works best for your family. You take what I'm giving you and you pivot it or you change it so that it works for your family. And then the last thing I just want to say to what you said is you talked about being centered and praying and things. I yell out to the Lord, like, Lord, I need you to help me in these next moments, okay? But I did want to say shout out to you and Marion, Ebony, Marion, and LaToya. They lead our Mom Squad prayer calls on Sunday. So if any of you are watching and you feel like you're just in need of prayer, or you want to start your week off right with prayer, make sure you get connected to one of our pages on Facebook and you find the flyer with the phone number, so that you can get connected to us so that you can be on a prayer call on Sunday. I just wanted to shout that out. Okay, Marion, handing you over the baton. What's some of the things you do?
Can you repeat the whole question again? Because I was trying to. We're in the middle of a snowstorm, so I'm trying to get my driveway shoveled.
Okay, that's important. Just giving some practical things that you do when you feel like you're just up to here, right? And the balance ain't coming through, or the rhythm is not showing through for you. Like, what are some of the practical things that you do?
So one thing, because this is something actually I wanted to bring up on the question before, is prioritizing my mental health. So, because I talked about my ADHD, I also deal with depression and anxiety. And so if I keep going and trying to push myself and wear all my hats at one time and not take time for myself or not take time to breathe, I'm going to end up in my bed for months. Like, it's self-sabotage. It's not a good look. So I have to take time to slow down and take a breather. And so sometimes stuff don't get done because I can't. I can push on and work myself into depression or into a panic attack, or I can stop here and let some stuff be laid, or not when I wanted it to get done, or not how I wanted it to get done. And but I can, regroup. So even sometimes I'm trying to I remember one time because I had COVID. That's what it was. I had COVID right after Thanksgiving. And I've been back to myself probably maybe 3 weeks now. And so during that time, like, symptom free, can walk around without, getting ready to pass out or anything. Like, I had to recalibrate my house because me and my son were sick, and so laundry didn't get done and all that stuff. So me trying to get everything back to normal, but I was still weak. Like, the towels didn't get put back exactly how I want them. My clothes, like, I just wanted my bed clear, my folds semi-folded and not wrinkled, like, I just had to do it to my ability in that moment. Another thing is the reason why, I jump around, sorry. But the reason why I brought up the mental health thing is because Tramika has been trying to get me to prioritize self-care for probably like 3 years now. And it's just now hitting in 2022.
Yes.
So like, I'm taking a birthday trip at the end of the month. And just, I'm being intentional. Like, 2022 is literally my year for putting me first and the things that I need, the things for my success, the things for my future, the things for my legacy, the things for my comfort, my mental health, me first. Because I am such a giver. I am somebody who wants to do for others. I am that friend that will drop everything I'm doing, or leave work, whatever you need me to do to get to you, in your time of need. I'm not doing that. Or it's not that I'm not doing that, but I gotta do for me.
It's okay. You're not
right. I love it.
I hear boundaries, Marion. I hear you that you're setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Which is super healthy.
I am setting some major boundaries. That's right, Ebony. And the thing is, like, go ahead.
No, keep going. I don't want to cut you off.
I said, no, I was gonna say that, and the thing is, it's just like, that don't mean I love anybody any less or whatever, but it's just, it's so easy because I'm a giver to put everybody above myself. And now I'm still either stuck in the same position that I've been in, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm frustrated and I'm getting down on myself because I'm not getting things done. And it's just like, it's time to put up me first so that I can do, and so I can do for me, so I can feel better, so I can be a better mom, so I can build the legacy that I want to build, and they'll be all right. Especially here where I'm at in Cleveland, because the friends that I have here in Cleveland, they are from Cleveland. So that means they mama is around the corner, their daddy around the corner, cousin, auntie. My family is in a whole other state. So they'll be fine. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm prioritizing me and the things that I need first. And that also means setting boundaries for my work. Cause I also am the type of person who will, that's kind of what I've been doing this week I will stay on. I got my laptop right here actually open, and a spreadsheet open on the screen, but I will work into the wee hours because I like to get things done. So I'll just chip away at it until it's done. But I am going to be very intentional this year about keeping those boundaries. And for my job, it'll get done when it get done.
Yeah.
So I had to push a deadline back today. Like, hey, you'll get that on Monday.
You made me think about something, Marion.
So,
What'd you say, everything?
I was saying, hearing Marion talk made me think about something that I was not really good at that I'm becoming better at just because I'm an only child and we are like super independent is asking for help. It's okay. So like when I hear you say, I had to reevaluate some people in my life. So like when you're like pouring into people, that should be reciprocated, no matter who it is. And so another thing Tramika taught me is like saying that you can't assume people know when you need help with something. So stating whatever season you're in, saying it, right? And then like when you need help, reaching out for help. And I think about that even like as a leader, like delegating things. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay. It doesn't make you weaker. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. I think as Black women, we are used to like handling so much and being strong and doing this and doing that. Like, it's okay to get a babysitter. It's okay. It's okay to it's okay. Like, you have to do what you need to do. And what that looks like for you, it's okay to do that. So
yeah, it's okay to get a housekeeper. It's okay to call HelloFresh. It's okay to get the groceries delivered. Like, look, it is okay. And I think for me, this is not necessarily a coaching session. So I want to speak from personal experience. For me, is one of the things you mentioned, like asking for help. I had to remember that I had help available. That was like the first thing. Because I know like both of you were on here, you mentioned that, well, I think Mary mentioned that, you're a single mother. So that looks a little bit different. I'm in the house with a whole husband and sometimes like going crazy trying to do everything and perfect it on my own. Like, why, Tramika? And so I had to realize, number one, you have help. Like, before I can even ask for it, you didn't realize you have it. Like, you have people in your circle, in your immediate household who's willing to help you. And now it's up to you to get out of that super mom syndrome, thinking you have to do everything because society has told us that by yourself, and actually ask for the help like you mentioned. And then a big one for me, a super big one for me is perfection. Like, I am a recovering perfectionist. I tell people all the time, if I put it on my calendar or on my planner, first of all, it don't exist until it'll make it there, right? So when it make it there, I'm trying to make sure, because I love crossing stuff out, y'all. Like, oh my God, like I will write something down that I did that wasn't there just so I cross it out. Like, it's just crazy. And that has to be like some type of...
That's a mental thing. They talk about
it has to be like some type of...
That's a mental intrinsic motivation or something.
I don't know, but I do that, right? And so the perfection thing, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So try, like if the laundry sit there for a day or two, like, Tramika, it's okay, girl. The laundry police is not coming to your house to check and see if you did it the day you had it on your calendar. Like, it is okay, right? It's okay, sis, if the kids eat cereal or a sandwich because you're tired and you need to get in the bed or you do have a deadline. Matter of fact, if you give them cereal, you're going to win the Best Mom of the Year award, okay? So,
I want the cereal anyway.
Yes, I had to like remind myself that I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be this book mom, right? That the black and white mom that they have on paper that society tells us that we need to be. And then the other really big thing for me was control. So I have an issue with control. I'll be perfectly honest. I do. But the reason, let me explain, the reason why I have an issue with control is because of my childhood and how I grew up. And a lot of things were not in my control. And so when I went out of the home, I went with the mindset that if I keep the control, I make sure, I'm going to make sure things happen in a precise way for my future, for my life. And so that's the reason why I like control. So it's not, it was just a by factor that I'm not out here just trying to control people and stuff. And so I had to understand I'm literally living in a season right now when it comes to like maintaining that rhythm where, okay, Tramika, like it's out of your control. Stop stressing out about it, number one. Or number two, you don't got to control it. Let somebody else do it. You can be laying in your bed watching HGTV, right? Like, or scrolling through home decor websites, because that's what I like to do.
Delegating is the yes.
So that control and that perfectionism was biting me in the butt. And so I will say that I feel like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm somewhere around a 7 when it comes to rhythm. And so I'm proud of myself. I'm not perfect. There are moments, there are seasons where that's completely off. And then I prioritize myself, because if I'm a good, healthy me, then I can show up for all the other things. And I think that as moms, we know that, but for some reason we don't execute on that, or we're not intentional about that. And when we can get that piece, like be a healthy you before anything else, then I think even that alone is going to help set the pace and provide some rhythm in our lives. So thank y'all so much for coming on. I don't know if you have anything else. I do have one more question I want to ask y'all. It's the fun question of the week. But before that, did you want to say anything else to anybody listening, any moms, to inspire them when it comes to balance and rhythm?
The only thing just want to reiterate. I just real quick, I just want to reiterate. I don't know if we actually said it, but I know we alluded to it tonight. Is give yourself grace. Nobody's perfect. None of us, even the mom, like Tramika said earlier, even the mom that's on Instagram looking like she got a perfect house or TikTok or whatever, I guarantee you behind that camera, there's gonna be dishes in the sink or the kids' toys everywhere or something.
Yes.
I agree.
So give yourself grace and get done what you can get done.
Love that.
I agree. I was just thinking, like, as Tramika was talking, the biggest thing, and I don't know if this is for someone, but like, be mindful of who you have in your space. Because that can throw off your rhythm a lot. When your space is taken up by the wrong things, right? So like making sure that even when we were just talking about delegating, right? Like there was a season in my life I did not have the right people around me, right? And I think about that even at work. I'm able to balance things because I got a bomb team to bounce things off of, right? Tramika, at home, you're able to balance things because you have a bomb team. So I think you definitely should, not that you need to depend, but like your circle, your inner circle, your core and things of that sort, you have to be mindful of who has access to you and who's in your space.
Yes, Latoya is saying she agreed with you. So even on that, I'm gonna do this little shameless plug. Ebony and Marion are part of the Mom Squad, and so if you would like to become a member, because literally, like, you have just experienced a connect call or just one of our virtual meetups, because we have members from all over. You have just experienced that. Like, we're on the calls, we're talking, we're being honest, we're being truthful, and we're helping each other out and giving each other the support and inspiration, and then those practical things, because y'all know I'm a homework giver. So those practical things that you can walk away with so that you can implement. You can get information all day. We can run down a whole list of things that you can do to find rhythm, balance, all that good stuff in your life, right? But if there's not anything practical to take away, and we gave you several practical things that you can take away so that you can start creating your blueprint for rhythm, like literally today. Because, we're going to go crazy if we don't figure out how to bring some type of sense or rhythm into our lives. So I thank you all so much for coming on, chatting with me. We'll definitely have to do this
Tramika.
again. Oh, go ahead. What you got to say?
We forgot one of the biggest things we forgot to say. Put them kids to work.
Right. Yes.
The biggest, because what made me think about it is I have a cousin. My cousin has 5 children, and him and his wife do the majority of the stuff, and their kids are getting bigger. The oldest one I think is 10, and then the one after that I think is 8. And even the 2-year-old, she can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Put those kids to work. It may not be done exactly how you want it to, but when your kids are helping you, like, that takes away so much stress. Sometimes it's just like, you know what, it's done. Or you can go after them and, you know, straight and fix whatever it is. So, because I know what big help. My son, he's big for his age, and he's very independent. So when he started cooking at one point, he can make, you know, breakfast, he can make burgers and stuff like that. And he loves it. I love it. Thank you.
Yes, that was a good one. So yeah, see, them gems be coming in at the last minute. So yes, put the kids to work. Make sure that they have some type of responsibility. I know y'all, oh my God, that's gonna be a whole nother show, like raising kids in this generation. Because these kids so privileged and spoiled, and I always tell my kids they suburban, like y'all don't know no struggle. Y'all don't know can't go nowhere on Saturday mornings, can't do nothing to the whole house clean top to bottom, even your mama room. They don't know none of that. Put them kids to work. Mm-hmm. So one more question before we jump off tonight. Thank you to everybody who has joined us live and gave your comments and your feedback. Thank you, Latoya. That's another one of our Mom Squad members out of Cali. Thank you for joining us tonight. One last question, y'all. So this is our fun question of the week.
I'm scared.
No, don't be scared. What TV mom would you allow to raise your kids for a year? What TV mom?
Claire.
My brain went there too. Oh my
God, that was mine too. I was like, Claire. Yes. Yes.
Because you know what? One of my biggest things in parenting is trying to, I want to be careful with my words, because I'm always paying homage to my ancestors and the people that came before me, and, you know, all the way down to my mama. And I appreciate the discipline and all that I received when I was being raised. But there's some things that are lacking in old school parenting. And I feel like those things, Claire is the only one that she was ahead of her time. She talked to her kids. She understood each individual kid, spent time with each individual kid, you know. Claire.
Yes, we're gonna have to tag her in this. Yes.
The mom that came to my mind, and I'm breaking the rules because it's not a TV mom. But I thought about a mom. Can I say it or not?
Yeah, go ahead. Say it. Who is it?
And I promise I'm not just saying this. I like Michelle Obama as a mom, and let me tell you why.
Yeah, girl.
Let me tell you why. But not just because she's Michelle Obama, though. Not just because of that, right? Like, we all know bomb. But I like the fact that although she was the first lady and they were the first family, she was still very realistic with her kids. She let her kids be children authentically. B, I can't remember if I read it or if I heard her say it. She said something along the lines of like, no, they still gonna make up these beds. Like, still. So I think it's that I can't say the word balance, rhythm of like, I don't know. I just think she displayed rhythm with her approach to parenting, although she was the first lady, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really admired that about her. Like, she still held true to her roots as a Black mama. Like, no, you don't make up these beds. But even within the lifestyle that she lived, she let them be kids and learn and grow. Like, they didn't have to be like perfect and things of that sort. So
yeah, I agree. So Michelle Obama, if you listening, they last name Craddock 11, 14, 18. If you want to come scoop them, like, right, matter of fact, I will drive them to you and I will drop them off. So if you want to come take them for a year, boo, you got them. So yes, I agree. Of course, my mind probably went there first when I just overall think of someone, because I love Michelle Obama, but I love she talks about a lot in her book. She talks about different parenting styles, and she started with doing a very deep dive on how she was raised. Yeah. So I love that. And she kind of correlated it to her parenting today. So yes, Claire Huxtable, we want to know, drop in the chat. We're about to drop off, but we want to see in the comments, who was your TV mom that you will allow to raise your kids? So Mary and Ebony, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being a part of the squad. I appreciate you coming on, being transparent, speaking from truth, and giving this wisdom, these nuggets, these gems when it comes to the B word, balance, and motherhood. And so we're walking away today saying that we're going to create our own blueprint for rhythm, figuring out what rhythm looks like in our life. These practical things that we can do to maintain rhythm. And the biggest thing I want everybody, every mom watching, I don't care if you're live or watching a replay, is you do not have to have it all together. No one has it all together. And so, sis, we see you. We relate to you. We know we carrying multiple hats just like you. And so, again, it's about maintaining that rhythm, something that's healthy for your lifestyle, for your family, that's going to work so that you don't go crazy. That's what it's all about. Enjoying life, not going crazy, not letting these kids get on my nerves 24/7, right? And just taking care of ourselves. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us tonight. And I will see all of you next week. Make sure you join us live, Facebook and YouTube. We're going to be talking, our topic next week, we're going to be talking about blended families. So you have to come on for that. If you are a part of a blended family, you intend on about to marry into one, you have to come on next week for our topic. So I will see you all next Thursday. Y'all have a good rest of the night. Have a great weekend as well.